Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to welcome everyone joining us right now. Cameroonians in the diaspora, this is our time to speak. Those who are abroad, in Europe, in Asia, in America, wherever you find yourself around the world, this is the time for us to reflect and be able to come up with a concise plan to move that country that we all love. Most of us have traveled abroad. We traveled abroad because we want to make our home country better. We traveled abroad because we want to make our families better. My question is, how do we really want to go about that? Right now, what we have been doing so far, has it been helping us? The objective of this video is to share with us what has been going on, but most importantly, to be able to bring light on what is going on in our communities and what we need to do to take action. There are a couple of videos that I want to share with us. And those videos are going to help us to have light and have perspective so that we don't let this time pass us by. There is a video that I watched. I would like to play that video for us to watch it together about a lady in a radio station making some comments about those in the diaspora and how they really feel about us. And that video has kept me all night awake. We are just coming out of what just happened with Wax Day. When I read some of the comments our people wrote about Wax Day without verifying the facts of this case, I could not sleep. I could not. What we are doing to ourselves, it's too much. It's too much. With the facts, people speculate, people slander each other. I mean, it's too much. We are just like, we are destroying each other. I would like to play that video for us to watch together so that we can be able to have perspective. Are you trying? So I want us to watch this video together.
America, they tell say this pants for America is worth 50K. You go vex or you no go vex. Or this perfume is worth 50K. What? I want to resurrect the debt when I want to resurrect the debt to perfume. So to me, in my own mindset, I think when people travel and when they are coming back here, I know you see nice things, you want to buy them, to come out. Another thing is like souvenir from America. But some of them, their mindset is, Makagi the belt. Makagi. I remember the very first time, thank God that my auntie a year ago. The very first time my aunt came back from America, she bought us pants. Come and see the fafa drawers there. Some fafa pants there. So with some perfume where they sell for all sides. So 1,000, what? Bet I can't give me the money. I get problems and pass that draw.
That if you are abroad, to see the Cameroon community.
Yes, that's what they.
Now they are, see their mindset.
Yeah, now we is.
Some of we who are from abroad, we didn't pay extra luggage, meaning that you don't buy things for people. Them to pay extra luggage. Sometimes when you get to the airport, it's $300 something. That is almost $300 something thousand you pay. You go buy clothes. Like what happened to me, I bought a belt. For $30, I give person. They go to look at it and say, now all this.
This is calculate $30.
Now all this. So please, if you are abroad, you are coming back home, hold money for hand. These people, they don't know the value of things that you are giving to them.
We'll buy it here.
They don't know the value of the things that are giving to them. Hold money for hand. Yeah. So if you buy something $10, you give some person, look at all this. Ungrateful. They don't know the value. So better give them money. 5,000 you give them for them, they go jump up If you buy something for $30, $20, get for the look and I say all this. So if you're in abroad, don't waste your time to buy things. You know, I give person perfume. He they ask me say, why they give perfume? It is smell. I give person perfume. Why I buy $40? I can remember. He say me why they give perfume? Say this smell. My better give cash. Me go pick them for 500. So they don't know the value of the things. They don't know the sacrifice that you are in abroad that you are doing to get all those things back home. They don't know it. So no worry yourself for bringing things. They bring money. Don't give them kolo. They go like them. Yeah. So I'm talking this because of my people that are coming from abroad like me. You know, I'm from abroad. All of us are abroad.
I know abroad people. Yeah. We don't appreciate better. We don't get very bad. We don't appreciate it. They don't buy so their clothes. They don't wear a tire because they don't allow Cameroon. They wear their clothes tire. They package the clothes and you will continue for where they stopped. What? Why don't you move about Cameroon market? Leave me
The culture, this is the culture that we have created in our country of origin. This is the culture. Someone buys a gift for you and you have preference as to what they should give you. I'm not disputing the fact that you can't propose what you want as a gift. But what I am disputing is the attitude. Are you tracking? Yes, you might want to buy something for me, and I could have a say to tell you what I want. But what I see is the attitude and the culture we have created. Entitlement. People making mockery of those who work hard abroad. Some of your brothers and sisters abroad can't sleep in their own house in America. I know of many people in the diaspora that have like 2 or 3 jobs here in America. I know of Cameroonians here that have not been able to make their hair for at least 3 months in America. I know of men here that drive in 14 hours a day. They take them out of Lyft, they get into Uber just to make sure that they come back home with something. This conversation is going to be long. I want you to tighten your seatbelt and let's dive deep into this, because diaspora has a huge role to play when it comes to the success of Cameroon. Whether you come from the Anglophone zone or the Francophone zone, diaspora plays a significant role to the development of that nation. This attitude of entitlement, that somebody owes you because you went to the same school together, that somebody owes you because they are your friend, that somebody owes you because they are your brother or sister and they find themselves in America or in Europe or in Asia. You are entitled to something that they have to give you. Even in the best nation where we find ourselves on earth, Americans don't think this way about themselves. I'm worried about this not because they shouldn't send money to you. I'm worried about this because of the culture that we will create and the effect and the backlash that this culture is going to reflect on us. So I'm setting the emotions on the side. I want to be very pragmatic. And I'm someone with a solution. I don't just maybe come up and talk about things. I have a solution I'm going to give us at the end of this video as to what diaspora will start doing moving forward. Listen some more.
Go there, okay, can go shop up. What shop up? No, we wear that. What no wear on that. Continue.
Okay, wait.
Okay, we will be the less privileged.
So, no, just you, all this you talk. Now, I'm not saying I put on Facebook now. Dear auntie, where they can't give you things them. It costs enough for air because I don't hear you. I deposit you on Facebook to tell you were there for America, there for Germany, there for UK. You don't see the Cameroon. She has a Cameroon mindset. If talk true. You give some persons on Tuesday, you go pass. See man, come America. See can't you give me? You can't give me. Okay, don't you know? Can't give me slipper. You don't say slipper.
You can't give slipper when you tell and talk about the whole in there. For what?
You
Bring me the dollars way back from America.
You see, no, they say me bring money.
You get overload now, overload for wait. You want check to carry yourself. You don't carry so cap away no where. Okay, you carry.
Now see their mindset.
You carry Africa Bailway, but I tell you, you can't give it all. No, you buy jeans for him and 500.
No, you don't know say jeans get different class. They want to elevate you to their class. They buy something very important, something very, very expensive. I can tell you that because I did that. I bought things until my first trip was come US. See, I reached for airport. That I follow a Turkish airline.
Where, Papa?
Extra bag. Because when they don't weigh them, you don't pass. You will not understand you will ever go now. You saw boys and you will not understand. You know go understand. You know go understand. The way. You understand.
This is why when you send money back home, that they should build for you a house. And that house is not built. They take that money, they go to the bar, they buy clothes that even you abroad don't put on. They make their hair, they look good. And then when you turn back to ask the question, where is the house that I sent the money for you to build? And you are being made mockery of. This is the ramification, because the attitude that is being reflected in this video is a classic depiction of why our country is the way it is today. This is the reason why you can send a relative abroad, pay for everything, and they go out there and they turn back and they are ungrateful for the help that you offer them. I say this and I say this all the time. There are some people in life, even if you don't agree with, because of what they did for you, do not disrespect them publicly. Because this is what we are getting right now. Are you understanding? Why am I making this video? Why am I making this video? I talked about the phone call that I had with some of the ministers in the country. It is very simple. When people are entitled like this, there is no way they can work for their country. There is no way they can keep a job. There is no way they can start a business and be serious with that business. Only few people will take the time to invest in their jobs or invest in their business and make sure that that business produces and be able to serve people. This is what is going on in our community. My dear people, diaspora, we've had a war that has cost us more than 40,000 lives. This is no joke. We have amplified the culture of entitlement. We have taken it from where it used to be to a whole next level. Because maybe in the diaspora, we've had all these emotions about what our country was going through. And so you let the people know that they have been dealt the wrong hand. So they should demand more from the government. This is where we are missing it out. Like, we'll continue watching this video and diagnose some more. This is where we are missing it out. We come from a country, regardless of where you find yourself in Europe or America, they have different systems. Some have decentralized systems, some have centralized systems, some have federal systems, some have unitary systems. So there are different systems that we operate under, different government structures that we operate under in the diaspora. When we turn back home, What we fail to understand is that there is a different system that our country operates under, and it is a centralized form of government. UK has a centralized form of government. France has a centralized form of government. There are many countries around the world with a centralized form of government. Our government is well united. You can speak with one minister. You call the next minister, they will tell you the same thing you heard over there without these two ministers talking about the conversation they had with you. This is what I have realized firsthand. They are united. They are very humble and down to earth people. They are not entitled. People in the community have fought the vision that I'm bringing to our nation more than the government. This is facts from my experience. And people tell me, oh, we are coming to collaborate with those back home. We are coming to partner with those back home. No. When you go to school and study, when you go to that classroom, you're not going in there to partner with that teacher. You're going in there as a student to learn. I want that to be very clear. There are some people that have traveled in different parts of the world. Some of them might have not had formal education abroad, but just the exposure that they have in their different countries alone is an experience that they can teach you something that you don't know, even if you have a PhD back home. I want to establish that, because this kind of entitlement and arrogance, I've had young people come right here and say, we are Mughals. Said that to my face, that we are Mughals. They've said that to me. The insult that was given to Waxday. So if Waxday helps Prince Emi to make sure that he's not ripped off, sponsor an entire production, and that production is making waves around the country, so he should not travel. He should not have fun with his family. If he's enjoying, then it is the money from the Vivian project. This is our mindset. All of you were insulting Waxday. My question to you is, what have you done with those comments? Those who made videos, what have you done with those videos right now? Realizing that you were all wrong. Because you saw him in America, and all of a sudden you think he is there because of Prince Emi's money. That is what you thought. Our government is well united, well organized, structured. Are you tracking? We in the private sector, we are not united, and we are trying to have a decentralized system in the private sector. And with this decentralized system in the private sector, you can never ever collaborate, right, with a centralized government to make progress in your communities. What will work for us in Cameroon is a centralized private sector. If you have a centralized system of government, you need a centralized private sector to be able to collaborate with the government to make progress. I think you can see that even with the case, right? When the Amazonian leaders went abroad and they were traveling to the UN, coming in different factions, anyone feels like, oh, they are a leader now, and they go over to the UN and maybe make their petition. What happened? They didn't take them serious, right? If the government told us this back there, that you're coming up with this project, you're coming up with this idea, we have many people coming up with these ideas, different ideas. Who am I going to listen to? And when we are not making progress in the community, we're like, oh, this government is bad, this government is terrible. We go around spreading all the stories about how much the government could be making from the resources in the country and not giving to the country without verifying. Let this Waxday's case be a classic example that we all extract knowledge from, that our people could be wrong. Those intellectuals propagating all this false narrative based on their predisposed prejudices, they could be wrong. And some of these people, if you never get to hear from them, you will run around with this narrative and destroy the lives of other people, destroy their properties, pick guns, hang in the bush, and think you're fighting a righteous cause. I want you to reflect, and those in the diaspora in particular. You guys work so hard. I understand the frustration. Coming back sometimes at 6 a.m. in the morning, and in the next 3 hours, you have to be on another job. I get it. But we can all make progress if we can have a centralized private sector. That when we let the government know that this is exactly what we want, they can understand us because we are speaking with one voice, just like they are speaking with one voice. Again, I repeat, you talk to the prime minister, he says one thing, you call the next minister, you talk to that minister, it's the same thing, and then you realize, oh, I would have just talked with the prime minister, I would have just talked with this minister, it would have been the same thing. They are united, the language is united. That is why those with the Amazonians failed massively, because they can't coordinate themselves and speak as one. That is what our private sector is struggling with. And when you have your own narrative of what you plan to do back home from abroad, and another person has his own narrative on what they want to do back home from abroad, we create this kind of society, and these people get to manipulate all of us, and then they call us mugus. This is our story. We can keep going on like this in the next 20, 30, 40 years, and this becomes the story that gets to be told about us, or we can pivot right now and make progress to the right direction. Are you guys tracking? Let's listen some more.
Don't wear my bag because I say extra luggage. I know if you throw that for airport.
You pay.
I pay extra $320.
Come back and give me the old cover.
The second time, I think now this in Ethiopia, you will not understand. No, you will not be finished.
That's why bring an 1 year at the end.
I pay extra back. Ethiopia Airline.
Don't tell me anything. I just want the money. I want to hear, what did you bring? What did you offer me? Are you guys tracking? This is not how many other nations have been able to build their home countries from the diaspora. This strategy is not effective, right? Like I said, I don't just talk. There's a solution, and there's always a strategy and a plan. But it's good that we diagnose the problem and we understand the gravity of the problem and ask ourselves the question, right? There are siblings, in-laws, people that want to control your every minute, like they want to be in your face. No respect for people's privacy. Are you tracking? Some will guilt trip you that because they give birth to you, they have the right to tell you what you will do for the rest of your life. This is not how a nation is built. This is not how communities are built. This is not how America or any other developed nation that you find yourself abroad is built. We have to ask ourselves the question, what did these people do to set up structures that work for them? I was sharing with a brother a couple of days ago. We sat down, we're talking about this. And I'm like, hypothetically, imagine you live in Alaska. The way houses are constructed in Alaska is different from the way houses are constructed in Texas. Do you agree? He said yes. I said the way houses are constructed in Europe is different from the way houses are constructed in Asia. Do you agree? He said yes. I said imagine that Cameroonians live in these different parts of the world, and they've learned, right? Like I said, just your job abroad and your exposure to that environment is education. Traveling is part of education. We used to say that. So if you live in these different parts of the world and you're coming back home with a developmental project, we are going to have some problems, right? Why? Because you're coming with a system, maybe from Asia, or a system from Europe, or a system from Alaska or Texas to construct a house. I'm coming from Texas with a system to construct a house, and you're coming from Alaska or wherever you're coming from, right? And we come with these different ideas. Say we want to construct a house. Do you know that the wiring of that house will be different? He said yes. Do you know that the thinking surrounding that entire construction project will be different? He said yes. I say, imagine we have a plumber, and the plumber wants to come fix an issue in my house. Do you know that that plumber might find it difficult to fix an issue in your house, because the way you constructed that house reflects how houses are being constructed in Asia, but the way I constructed my house reflects how houses are being constructed in the United States. He said yes. So we need one system. And why? Because I realize that when I call a plumber and they come over here, they know exactly where everything is in this house. You guys understanding? You call an electrician, they come in here, they know where the socket is, they know where everything is. And one day I had to stop a plumber who comes to take care of my stuff around my house, and I asked him, how did you know that this device was right here? He said the way houses are wired here in Texas, there is a standard that if you walk in, there is a pattern, there is a way that houses are being constructed here, that if you walk into any house, it is easy for you to know where the AC is. It is easy for you to know where everything that you need to get that job done is in that house. And I started understanding that there are systems, there are structures, there are plans. And if we don't have a plan, and when I asked him, like, you see what I'm saying? He said, yes, it makes sense. I said, so if we don't have a plan to coordinate ourselves in the private sector, we will have people with opinions every day. This will keep going on forever. And guess what? We are depriving ourselves of that standard and quality of life that we can experience in Cameroon because of these diverse opinions. But if we come up with ideas and ask ourselves the question, what is the best idea? And how can we verify scientifically, right, that this idea is the best one? This idea, this structure, this way of building a house is the best. Because we have done our research, we've looked at what has been done in different parts of the world. Now we have a standard that even if we present this before the government, they get it. Is this what you guys want? Yes, we have unanimously in the private sector agreed on this standard. So with that, it makes the job of electricians, contractors, those who construct houses. Are you understanding? Those who run restaurants, there is a standard. Just having clarity on this is 50% progress towards building a nation that will someday marvel the entire world. I want you to just think about what I said. Having structures in different sectors within our economy is 50% progress towards building a nation that will thrive and be successful, not just for this generation, but for generations to come. So we need a centralized private system. The problem in Cameroon is not government. The problem in Cameroon will not be solved by a new politician. The problem in Cameroon will not be solved by changing some policies. I've interacted with our people. I've seen our behavior, online and offline. We need discipline. We need a centralized private system. We need order. We need to respect one another. Without this, we will not make progress. We need to be honest with one another. We need to understand what it means to have a leader and respect that leader, whether in the private sector or in the government. That is our biggest impediment. Now, we'll listen some more, but I want to remind you guys all that today, Africa has independence because Kwame Nkrumah came abroad, studied, and went back home, not with money, but he came back home with a vision that his nation will have independence, and so other African countries will have independence as well. That is the vision. And the entire community back home rallied behind Kwame Nkrumah, and that dream became a reality in his lifetime. In the 1920s to the 1980s, this was the whole travel abroad initiative. To go study, come back with wisdom, and develop your home country. This started changing in the 80s. People started traveling for money. And as we travel for money, I understand there's some problem with some government policies that were affecting individuals in the private sector, that they gave up hope, and relatives that were acting the way these are acting right now. And People traveled and said, okay, I'll better just go for money than come back home to people that will not listen. But one thing I want you to realize, in as much as Kwame Nkrumah came back with the idea for Africa to have independence, his idea was that we have a unified Africa. His aspiration was he would probably be the president of that one Africa. It was not a philosophy that Africans should have independence in their respective countries. That was the first step. But the next step was to consolidate power so that he can be the president of that continent. And it's not realistic, right? Because we have different tribes, different ways of looking at life within every country in Africa. The Igbo tribe have certain rituals and practices compared to our own tribes in Cameroon. We have different ways of looking at God or looking at life or celebrating the birth, the death, right? Or maybe when we give somebody to marriage. This is something we must be conscious of. But Kwame Nkrumah's idea was that he consolidates power, and let's have a united Africa. So that was his whole initiative. Now, what has this done for us? This has left us with a system where we've had presidents. The presidents have found it hard to relate with the people because now we have advocates like Professor Lumumba and the rest that are emerging and preaching this whole idea of one Africa, and that the problem in your country is because of your government. So regardless, even if your government has good intentions towards making the nation better, we will sabotage it because we have these preachers preaching one Africa. And so it destabilizes every nation in Africa. This is the reality that we are dealing with. If you don't understand why there has been a huge divide, or why you think that we've raised corrupt government, it is because when there is no unity of purpose, the Bible is clear, where there is no vision, people perish. So now the people are divided. They are not united with their leader for the development of their nation. And so all this speculation about your leaders being corrupt, they've embezzled all the resources. I'm not saying that there are not some bad leaders, there are, but this is the narrative painted about every African leader, every African president. They are corrupt, they are terrible human beings. Are you tracking? See the behavior. Just imagine what was said about Wax Day a couple of days ago. If he never came up to even provide evidence about what is going on, imagine what the narrative would have been. Imagine. And then this is what has been done to every president in every African country. Are you guys tracking? Okay. Listen some more, and then I'll throw some light into this, and then we'll make progress. We can wrap it up, right? Is this making sense? We'll wrap it up. But this is time for us to wake up. There is no way. We need systems. We need structure. We need a centralized private system. We need to be organized. When you study abroad, right, your job is to go back home and help those back home. I've seen instances here where an ordinary citizen here in America, or someone who just traveled from Cameroon to America, is able to turn back and provide solutions to problems that some of the best medical doctors in Cameroon cannot. Yeah, just with 30 minutes of research, provide medical help that some of the best doctors in Cameroon could not. The reason why we travel to this country is so we turn back and give you wisdom. Number one, not money. Before you put money in the hands of someone, you have to make sure that you give them wisdom first. If they cannot take wisdom, don't give them money. Do you get it? Except they are old, that you know they really need help. If people are strong, have their two hands, their two eyes and legs, before you give them money, give them wisdom. If they refuse wisdom, don't give them money. You're wasting it. You are wasting it. You will die of hypertension abroad, and these people will still live. They will not die even if you die. They will still feed even after you're gone. Are you tracking? Before you travel abroad, they were eating. And as you are abroad, they are still eating. And when you die and go, they will still eat. They will figure out something. Are you tracking? Yeah.
$200, 200 and something dollars. After I can't give people them, after all my struggle, all my suffering, I gather all the things I can't give you now. Now look at such a person. Which country that will come up? Which country that will come America? Which country will come America? You go to pick an outside. You go pick an outside. Ungrateful people in there around. Ungrateful people in there around. See them. Now then this. Now the champion this. Now the pro for this. So.
Chief senior person don't bring me even to pick.
It is.
That to pay to the one airport. No can say now.
So ungrateful people in this.
Because the fact that you have somebody in the United States of America is a privilege. I'm honest with you. Just the fact that you have somebody in the United States of America is a privilege. Let me ask you a question. If you call a brother or a sister abroad, what if you ask them ideas? Trust. Ask them for wisdom. That can make your business better. The narrative is those back home are smarter, those abroad are stupid, and all they have to offer is money. Don't let this idea of you thinking that because they offer you money, it means they are stupid. The fact that they give to you, you think they are stupid. Now you're tracking. But again, those in the diaspora, this is the culture that you have created. These are the human beings that you have raised. You've trained them to be this. Then what is this doing? Every family that has someone abroad are mounting the same pressure, having the same attitude towards their siblings abroad. What they cannot do for themselves, they expect those abroad to do for them. Are you tracking? Yeah. They believe that every hand is not equal in their community. That is, they can see a rich man in that community and they think like, okay, it's okay to be broke and that person is rich. But in America, they think, no, everybody in America is supposed to be rich. Right? Everybody in America is supposed to be rich. You don't think the same situation that you have back home, the same socioeconomic situation that you have back home, those abroad have a similar situation. You don't believe that. When you get into the plane, you are automatically a rich person. There's money flowing in America. You just need to walk on the street and pick it up. Are you tracking? That is the narrative. And this is the culture that we have created. Okay. I would like to give us something to work on. As if you're watching this video, okay. This is a very good book that I will highly recommend. If you are in the United States of America, before you pick up the phone, call me to ask the question, how can we get engaged in building this centralized private sector that can help even these people? You might think they know what they are doing. They don't. Check with them, send their IQ, their reasoning. They don't. Just like they will sit and call us stupid and mugu on Facebook. I'm telling you, most of these people don't know what they are doing. Even if they have a master's degree or a PhD, they don't have a clue about what they are saying. There are two books that I'm going to recommend. This is number one. I encourage everyone in the diaspora to read this book. This one is predominantly for those abroad. If you are in Asia, if you are in Europe, if you are in America, I want you to read this book. It is titled The Economics and Politics of Race. This is a book written by Thomas Sowell, one of the greatest intellectuals when it comes to economics in this country, United States of America. I encourage everyone in the diaspora, go buy this book and read it. Before you call me to ask what role and how can you get engaged, read this book. The second book I'm going to recommend, that will be for those back home and abroad. This is how we build a society. It even makes sense to us, right? The government has one law that is governing the country, right? Our different communities and different tribes have different laws that are governing our different tribes or governing our different communities. So if the government says one thing, the community says something else, there's contradiction, and all of a sudden we have chaos. There is a compound effect on this. What do you have? A nation that is exploding. Are you guys tracking? We need some order. And the only way we get order, if when we go to school, right? If you're in a math class, there's always a formula. That's why I like to speak with numbers, because there's no emotion with numbers. You can go through the social sciences, literature, philosophy, history, and you get emotional and you start speaking. But when you do math, there is a formula. When we say BODMAS, it is BODMAS. The way we will fix this country is through mathematics. We will not fix this country with history. We'll fix this country by looking at numbers and measuring progress over time and making adjustments. So if you're in a math class with me, when a teacher comes on the blackboard and writes a problem, and he always gives a formula, and he might give 2 formulas as to how you can solve that problem. Guess what? No matter where we go around the world, that formula is standard. 1 + 1 is true in Cameroon, and 1 + 1 is true in America. There is no argument on that. But when you go with all this history and you go with literature and all of these cultural things, and you start having all these emotions, are you tracking? But if we are mathematical in our approach, we'll have less sentiments, because every math student agrees with BODMAS. Every math student agrees that 1 + 1 is 2. Whether it is in Greek or Hebrew, whether it is in Chinese, 1 + 1 is 2. So the way we solve an economic problem, because that's the biggest issue we have right now, it's not cultural, it's economic. Hunger everywhere. Money is being needed, right? How do we elevate ourselves out of poverty and have a society that we love? That most of us want to go back home, enjoy our country, enjoy our people. If not, you create enmities with your brothers, your sisters, your friends. Everyone is an enemy because of expectations. Because that is the worst thing that destroys families, destroys relationships, when we don't define expectations. In this relationship we are in, what do you expect of me? You got to clearly define that. What would you expect of me? Right? There are some people that want to help you. They don't tell you that they're expecting something from you. And then when they help you, tomorrow they say, oh, I was thinking that you would do X, Y, Z for me. Since you're not doing that, you're a bad person. No, before we even get into this, I know you're a good person. You're nice. You want to help me. Are you expecting something from me? You got to be clear with that. These are uncomfortable conversations that we will avoid in the beginning of that help, that is going to affect you right down the road. Can we talk about it now? What do you expect of me? If possible, can we have a contract on that? Say, hey, contract, no, let's have a contract. You say you want to do this, right? Yes. Are you expecting something? Is this just help, or you want me to do something for you tomorrow? Because I've seen situations where a family member will help you, right? They don't tell you that they're expecting something, and tomorrow they say, oh, I was thinking the reason why I'm helping you is so you take care of my own children. And then tomorrow you're successful and you don't help their children, and they're like, oh, I was thinking you help my children. No, did you tell me that? Let me know. If I have and I see your children struggling and I can help, I will help. Is it an obligation that you go around calling my name in case I don't help your children? Or is this something that I can help out of my own free will? Are you understanding what I'm saying? But if you are helping me with the intention that I'll help your children, don't assume that I should know. If that is what you have in your mind, let it be clear. These are conversations that we avoid in the beginning of relationships that can create tension, division, and lead to a place where people poison you, slander you, say all sorts of things about you. We have to be comfortable having contracts with people. I've had contracts even with my own blood brothers. I've had contracts with friends. I've had contracts with many individuals that I do business with, because I have learned, right, the consequence of doing business with people without contracts. So this is the book number 1. Go get this book. The Economic and Politics of Race. This is a very good book, because sometimes we think we are the first group of people. Africans are the first group of people to travel abroad to help their home country. Before you started this journey, Jewish people have been doing this. Before you started this journey, Indians, Asians have been doing this. Before you started this, the Europeans have been doing this. And they traveled to this country and they experience everything that you guys are going through right now. And the way you make progress really fast is to ask the question, what did they do when they came here? What was the relationship like with their home country? This book helps answers that question for you. Don't just read this book. After you read this book, I want you to look at the dispensation that we find ourselves with and be able to come up with solutions to solve the problems that we are dealing with right now. Because this is not some book that you just read and you cram and you think that when you go around, you see exactly what you saw in the book. No, you should look at the dispensation that you find yourself in as well. So I think I'll probably make a test on these books so that after that, people will be able to write a test. Wherever you are abroad, you just find that time you read this book, we take that test because it will help us with the conversations that we have about this diaspora thing. This is a big problem, eating people up in different parts of the world. And the way we address this problem is to go study. Because what we realize is the first generation of people that travel abroad, and that's what you learn in this book, the first generation of people that travel abroad, they have a very strong tie with their home country. Now, when they give birth to their children, from the second to third generation, the connection with their home country start dropping. Because why? The children now are familiar more with the country where they were born compared to the country where their parents came from. So in the third and fourth generation, you start losing them. Are you understanding? Now, with social media, when you come abroad, maybe you give birth to the first, second generation. Today, because of social media, your children can connect more, maybe with the people back home because we have the internet. How do we manage this? This is a relationship that we are going to have for a very long time. And so having a structure as to how we want to coordinate ourselves with this diaspora and home connection is very, very important. And we cannot wing this. We can't wing it. We need some structure. Are you understanding? Because people will sit and tell you all sorts of things like, oh, because you're in America. Bro, I just brought some of these books to you. Man, I'll read, let's say, 4 books in a month. And somebody turns around and tell me the reason why you're in America is because of grace. Bro, this is the deception. The people who have made it in life turn around and tell you that why they are where they are is just the grace of God. So you don't have that grace. That is why you're struggling. Everyone has the grace to succeed. If you're in your 20s and 30s right now, wake up and work for your life. Nobody owes you anything. The same grace upon my life, you have that grace. I'm telling you the truth. People want to leave you in your slumber or leave you in your misery will tell you that it is grace over their life. And so you don't have that grace. What Jesus Christ did on the cross of Calvary is sufficient for everyone to have that grace. You have the grace. Every finger is not equal. But make sure that you do everything that you have to do with your own fingers. And if I recommend the books that I read that makes me think and be able to see life this way, you say, oh, no, you want to read the book. You want to read it. And then you turn around and tell me it's grace. I tell you to do things a certain way. This is how we do stuff. Do it this way. You say, no, you won't listen to me. And then you say, oh, it's grace. No. It's stubbornness. The grace upon my life came because I obeyed certain laws with my own grace. If your own grace makes you to be stubborn, disagreeable, and don't want to listen to anyone, that is something you have to deal with. Now, the second book that I'll recommend, and I think this will be for everyone. Everyone. This is the second book. I encourage this will be the Bible in our country. Before you send any dime from today to anyone back home, even those in the village that you claim that cannot read or write, someone will read this book and teach them in their native tongue. And they will be able to respond with what they understand by the content of this book. Before you send a dime back home, I'm telling you, the people will not die except they're in a hospital or in a critical condition. Every Cameroonian should read this book before you send money back home. If you don't want to do that, keep doing what you're doing. Are you tracking? Every Cameroonian should read this book. And this is why. And I'll share with you that then we'll wrap up. This is why. This book is titled The Richest Man in Babylon. The version of this book is the one written by George Clayson, right? This book is about Babylon. If you've heard about Babylon, one of the richest cities that ever existed in history. People wanted the king to build roads. They said, we don't have roads. They king build roads. We don't have electricity. The king provided everything that they needed. We have irrigation system. The king provided irrigation system. But the citizens of that nation realized they were still broke. I want to help us because this book will unlock prosperity in Cameroon like never before. We've had electricity, but we are still broke because some people are telling you today it is politics, it is government. Young people, they don't want to go out there and learn how to start a business. They want to pick a suit, put it on, and sit in front of the TV and say they are politicians. No, go get a business. Go learn a trade. Learn how to develop your communities. You will help and do more. Even if you become president tomorrow, you will do better in that position because you understand how businesses work. Are you tracking? Despite everything that the king gave the people, he realized that they were still broke. And they started asking questions. What can we do to be better? What can we do to experience prosperity? They said the riches in this city is concentrated in the hands of a few. And they said, okay, let's go look for those people. They went and looked for this man called Akkad. He was one of the wealthiest men in that city. Are you tracking? Akkad was summoned by the king. And for one reason, we have everything in this city. The people are still struggling. What can we do so that we can all experience prosperity? Are you guys tracking? They did not demonize the man because he's a wealthy man. They did not say that man is a nyongo man because that man is a wealthy man. They did not say this man is a bad man because he's a wealthy man. They said, let's go bring that man so he can teach us what he did to produce wealth. When you see somebody abroad, when you see somebody that is successful in your community, don't sit and make assumptions as to how they make their money. Go ask them, what did you do to get where you are today? Are you understanding? You can look at the life of someone like Francis Ngannou and you think, oh, it is just grace. No. He was able to make a way for himself and found himself in Europe. There's a track, just like those who are going through Mexico to get to America. There's a track that he took to get to Europe. When he got there, there is a certain way he behaved towards the people that he met. There were certain places that he went to, and there were certain places that he did not go to. We've made a culture of sitting in a bar every day drinking, and we think it's alive. No, there are certain places he went to. There are certain mentors and coaches that he submitted himself under their leadership. And they guided him and trained him to the person that we see today. If you see that, you don't think that is a formula for success. I don't know what you're doing. Are you understanding? It's just grace and it's just that person. How can we duplicate success? That is my whole goal for this video. How can we duplicate success that lasts for the next 2-3 generations? This is a master class that I could pay. You could pay to just attend, just to sit around here. But I'm giving it for free for people to sit and tell me, oh, no, whether they disagree. This is not for you to agree. I'm teaching. Just like you sit in a classroom in a university. The teacher don't ask your opinion and you tell them what you think. No, I'm teaching. Principles. Things that work. Coming from books that I read. Real life experiences that I see. Personal experience that I've had. Is not some debate. It's not something for you to listen and say you agree or you disagree. They don't do that. When they say 1 + 1 is 2, it's not debate. It is what it is. There are formulas that you can look at and say, oh, how did this person become successful? And you follow that same formula and you will be successful. So this book is a classic. And I'll just outline briefly some of the key points in this book so that you can have an understanding. When you pick the book, you read it, you understand. That is what will happen in school. The teacher comes, they give you the lecture, you go back, you look at your notes, it enforces the point. Are you tracking? So the rich man came and he outlined 7 principles to success. He didn't come and say, oh, I just stepped out there and God just blessed me and things just work out for me. No, he said there are 7 principles, 7 steps, 7 strategies to succeed, to not be poor. And he started holding classes in that community to teach the people how to come out of poverty. And because the people listen, some of them had questions. Obviously, you should have questions when you hear this new information. But he was able to address all of those questions, including those who think gambling will make them successful. There is something in this book for you. Those who think it's 1x bet that will make them successful. Those who think it's TSA that will make them successful. Those who think, oh, it's just taking money from those abroad that will make you successful. None of this will make you successful. And it grieves my heart that you think that this will make you successful and you have been trying for years and yet you are not successful. Always, especially some abroad, not all, but most, they know something that if you ask the right question, I used to tell people, and I say it all the time, the quality of your life is predicated on the questions that you ask. You ask wrong questions, you have wrong answers, you act on wrong information, and you get wrong results. You get nothing but failure. But if you ask the right questions, you somehow figure out things and get the right answer. And when you get the right answer, you have a good plan. And when you act on that plan, you will get different results that is not conventional to those in your community. There's no science to this because people think it's some rocket science. No, success is predictable. You can see somebody's life and say that, oh, you will see someone and say, oh, this person works with bad friends, and so you think they'll be bad, right? You know that. But how do you think that if somebody's working with someone that is successful, they will not be successful, right? You don't think that way, right? But when they're working with bad friends, you say, no, they are bad people. But when they're working with successful people, you don't think they will be successful. You will be successful if you associate with the right people. So these are the key things that I want to share with you. So the king did not remain ignorant, thinking that success comes from the sky. But the king says, no, bring this rich guy, let him tell the people what he did to be successful, and so that our people can follow that blueprint and be successful. So what I'm saying to Cameroonians, there is a system that we can follow, empower, and have a centralized private sector that works in collaboration with our government that is centralized, and we can be able to create a prosperous nation. Irrespective of who is president, we will be fine. Are you tracking? Politicians will not save you. Elections are good. Go participate, but they won't save you. Right? Some people argue a lot about the elections, then they've never voted. But you get what I'm saying? They won't save you. Sound principles. And that's why you blame President Paul Biya for the rest of your life, thinking he's the cause of all your problems. Which all the African countries that have been changing presidents, what have changed? Like look around, just see their countries. The private sector, the people, they need transformation. That is my honest observation. So number 1, this is what the rich man told him. Write it down. He said, number 1, save at least 10% of your income. So whatever you are making in life, if you make 1,000 francs, save 100 and don't touch that 100 francs. That is what the rich man told the people. Save 10% of whatever you make. You think you will die? No, you can live on 900. 100 francs goes away into an account that you never touch. The rich man said these are the steps that he followed to be successful. And they work even today. These principles are true. So number 1 step towards Success is to save 10% of everything that you earn. Number two, he says, live within your means. That is, control your expenditures. Live within your means. Some people, when they start making money, they increase the standard of their living. They want to rent now a big house instead of living within your means so that you can increase your savings. So that when opportunities show up for investments, you have money to invest. When people have this plan, and this is why I'm teaching this, because if I have that kind of plan for my life and you do not, and you ask me money and I tell you I don't have because the money has been distributed equally for the financial plan I have, you will start saying that person is greedy. That's why some of you go around saying rich people are stingy. They are stingy. No, they just have a plan because they have seen the lives of others and how they've gone broke, unable to take care of their children, not because they didn't have money, but because they did not have a financial plan. So this is a financial plan I'm giving you for free. So number two, control their expenditures. Control your expenditures. Number three, invest wisely. Some people take advice from those who have no clue about what they are doing. And I said this and I tweeted it out there. The easiest way to stay poor is to take advice from poor people on how to become rich. Again, I repeat that. The easiest way to remain broke your entire life is to take advice from poor people on how to become rich. Or take advice from someone that has no experience in a specific industry on how to succeed in that industry. Some of you take advice on how to run a business from your parents that have never run a business before, from your friends that have never run a business before, from people who don't have no clue about that industry. And yet you want to take advice from them on how to run that business. And you take that advice and you go invest your money. Invest wisely. This is the third thing Akkad told the people of Babylon. Number four, he says, avoid risky investments. Some people want to invest in businesses that are very risky. Some people try to invest in Bitcoin, all these cryptocurrencies, because there's one person or two people that you know that are very successful, and you take all your savings and you put into Bitcoin and you watch it fly before your eyes. Are you tracking? You think Paris Food is an investment. 1xBet is an investment. TSA is an investment. Cryptocurrencies that you have no clue about is an investment. And some of you have seen what has happened with your savings. So he says, guard your treasure from loss. If you don't have a fence around your money, you will start saying there is someone taking the money every time you make it. And so you go to a native doctor to find a solution to that problem. No, guard your treasures. Some of you, before you collect your salary, you are going out there to pay all the bills that you have consumed over the month. Or maybe you take that money, you're going straight to a bar. And when you blow it up, the next day you go to a native doctor to find the problem as to why you can't have money. He said, guard your treasures. I mean, basic examples. I mean, like basic principles that he gave the people. So, avoid risky investments. Sir Isaac Newton said this. He said he has been able to understand how to compute mathematical equations, but one thing that he has not been able to figure out is the madness of men. You can't make investments in things that you don't understand, because human behavior is unpredictable. And since those markets are driven by human behavior, you cannot predict what will happen the next day. Like Donald Trump becoming president, all of a sudden you see the price of Bitcoin is going up. You might still say, oh, I wish I invested in Bitcoin. As good as it seems, This is not a traditional way of making money. If you know somebody that is running a successful business over a considerable period of time, you can invest in that person and get a cut out of that investment, even while learning what they are doing. That is wise investment. That is a wise strategy to invest. Number 5, he says, own your home. Because when you own your home, it gives you that flexibility and it gives you that firm foundation to be stable, especially for those who are raising a family. Your children need to be stable. Go to a particular school, grow up with a certain group of people. This helps them to be stable mentally. It helps you to remain grounded. And these are some of the benefits that comes with owning your own home compared to renting. When you're renting, the next month the rent goes up. Guess what? You have to start moving from one house to another. Your children have to change schools. Guess what? It destabilizes the entire family. But when you own your own home, your children can grow in a particular environment, and that alone is healthy for them and for you as well. Are you understanding? There are some investment opportunities that they'll ask you, do you own a home or are you renting? Because if you own a home, then we can trust you that you're stable. You have a place where we know you're here. But when you're moving around and you're renting, guess what? They cannot really trust you with certain investments. The people that will tell you don't own a home, they are somehow connected to a real estate business. Almost like even the rich dad, poor dad, the Grant Cardones, they will tell you don't own a home. Why? Because they are real estate investors. They want you to come rent their house. Are you understanding? And so they will preach so hard on not owning a home so that you can rent a home or you can rent an apartment from them. Are you understand what I'm saying? Yes, when you rent a home, because people want to play it safe out here. They want to tell you everything is so nice and cool. Just look for a way to cut. No, besides the risky investments, when you own a home, you're going to work hard. Sometimes we are too comfortable. We need something to push us up. When you turn around and you look at the house and you think you can pay it, you run out there, you will work hard. You will think 360. You will not just sleep on your hands. You will work extremely hard to provide for your family. That is what this will do for you when you own your own home. So learn to own your home. It is very important. Now, that is what Akkad said. This is coming from wisdom more than close to 2,000 years ago. And it's still very, very factual today. These principles are true even today. Are you tracking? So number 6, he says, plan for your retirement. Some people don't have this plan. And with this financial knowledge in the mind of every Cameroonian, another Cameroonian will say, oh, I'm planning for my financial future. And you think they are crazy. You think they are stingy. You think they are stupid. And they say, I'm planning for my children's college money. And you think they are foolish. Why? Because you don't have that knowledge. That's why I say before you send any dime back home, let that individual read this book and they'll be able to take that test and let us see where their financial IQ is before you send them money. If you want to build a community, except someone is in the hospital. He said, plan for retirement. It will come just like winter, just like autumn, just like fall or spring. Retirement is coming. There's a time that you will not be able to walk again. There's a time you will not be able to get up and go to that job. And if you don't plan now, you're going to regret it. Nobody will take care of your children like you. They are your responsibility. Your parents had you as their responsibility. Now your children are your responsibility. Number 1. No one is going to take care of your children like you. And don't play with their future. So if we don't have this kind of knowledge in the community, what are we doing? We just have a bunch of people hitting each other, manipulating each other, tripping each other, trying to make you feel guilty. Don't even blink, because when you know what you're doing, you don't even blink. When somebody's telling you, oh, look at you, I thought you would do this for me. No, I don't blink. When you have knowledge, you're firm. You're firm. And that is the highest thing that can give you confidence is knowledge. Because when you know yourself, you know where great people are and what they have done with their lives to get where they are. You're not blinking when somebody with their ignorance on finances sits there and tell you, oh, you should be ashamed of XYZ. No, I'm not. Are you understanding? When we come with this kind of knowledge, we dispel ignorance in the community. You will start seeing prosperity from every corner, peace in the community. People stop running to native doctors to find solutions on problems that don't even exist. Or start praying the wrong prayer to God about some brother or sister abroad that, oh, they have not done this for me. Those kind of demonic prayers, they just disappear. Some of the problems that we go to God to pray is irrelevant. And God is mad when he hears you come praying that prayer because he can tell it's pure ignorance. People don't ask questions in the community. Many people don't ask questions. Just sit and talk. Some people call me here, tell me about America more than me that live in America. They want to teach me about America. And they have all the CNN and social media concepts about America. They want to teach you in America about America. They don't ask one question. That is the height of ignorance. When you meet people, ask questions. I always do. Even to people that don't live in America, when they ask questions, just to see where you are. And it's for a reason. Those abroad, please, as you go out there looking for money, try to invest time in financial literacy. When you turn back, give your people knowledge. This book is the first place to start. And when you're done with this, you reach out, we'll give you more books. This is what took out ignorance in America. And that is why this country will keep going forward, while other countries struggle. That is why it is the richest country on earth. And somebody lives in this country. You call them, you don't ask for strategies to grow your business, strategies to make your life better. You want to take into this. The GDP of Cameroon compared to the world's GDP is 0.01%. This country has 30% of the world's wealth. And you will want to advise someone that is working in this country on finances. Nah, bro. That ego is too big. I'm telling you, it's too big. You want to advise someone here on development, you want to advise someone here. If it's working, let it work for you. Why do you even have to bother calling me or trying to ask me something? If what you know in your head is sufficient, let it work for you. When you follow anyone abroad, the first thing, get knowledge. Get strategy, get a plan. Learn from them first. Don't be in a rush to ask money. The last thing is increase your ability to earn. Enhance your skill. I'm telling you, if you can read, you can write, you have your two hands, have your eyes, have your legs, you can learn a skill in the next 6 months. There's some crash course that you can take, some boot camp that you can take in the next 6 months that can prepare you to get in a job in tech, no matter where you find yourself around the world. But you must ask. I will let you. The Bible is clear. Ask and it shall be given. The Bible did not say talk and you have. It said no, ask and it shall be given. The giving doesn't come by talking. The giving comes by asking. It's in your scripture. It says, seek first the kingdom and its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. You have to seek first the kingdom. The kingdom is wisdom, knowledge about God, knowledge about the reality, knowledge about what is going. Not everything that you read on YouTube or you read on Facebook is the reality of what is happening in America. There's a lot that you will never know until you live here. And there's a lot that you never know until you live in certain communities, even in America. There's a lot that you never know if you don't work in certain industries. There's a lot that you will never know unless you live in certain cities in America. Don't be deceived. Some people might live in America, but their exposure can be limited to the geographical location that they find themselves in. Are you guys tracking? We are not here to play this kind of nonsense anymore. Are you understanding? We have to have some structure in the private sector, right? With what has happened with Wax Day, we stop this nonsense. We stop this nonsense. Guess what? When they go online and look at your data and how you guys interact online, guess what happens? They can rate how you guys think even in your community based on how you comment online, and people can know whether this place is worth investing in. Are you understanding? You think people don't rate you? You think that if I look at just the comment section and I see how people are responding, you rate the people, you can see their thinking in their community, and you can know whether this is a good place to invest or not. You guys are just lowering potentials or opportunities that could help the community, just your online interactions. These algorithms are registering your interactions online, and you don't know. And they can be able to rate your IQ, rate how you think, rate whether this place is a good place to invest, because these are data that will be provided very soon based on how these people think. Are they worth investing in? That is why sometimes they say, if you don't know what to say, it's better you stay quiet, because it will make people think you're smart when you are quiet. The Bible says, be quick to listen and slow to speak. And in this generation, I'll say, be quick to listen and be slow to type. Because when you talk, you do what you're doing, all of a sudden you start going around blaming people, creating all kinds of stories. They are this, that. I mean, like, it's too much. It's too much, guys. It's too much. Those who are going around holding guns, trying to say they want to divide the country, stop this nonsense. Stop it. Stop this madness. I mean, just quit. Let there be some peace in the community. Just quit all of this. You've been manipulated. All of these things brainwash. They manipulate you just like they manipulate stories and put you in this fog, and you're confused and you think you're smart. You're fighting a just cause. Which just cause? This bullshit. Just stop it. And those who want to keep challenging people online, keep typing. We are screenshotting some of those comments. You will pay for it. Yes, you will pay for slander. Keep writing. If you don't know the law of your country, you better figure that out. We need an order, guys. We need an order. It's just too much. We can't go on like this. And given the fact that we are struggling, we should not be doing this. We should be more cooperative. We should be united. We can't go on like this. So you've seen the 7 principles. This guy sat down, and every day he was teaching these principles and answering questions on these principles. Go buy this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Again, number 1, save at least 10% of everything that you make. You will not die after you save 10%. Number 2, live within your means. If your salary goes up, don't increase your lifestyle. Live within your means. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. They won't help you, right? Number 3, invest wisely. Wise investments. Number 4, avoid risky investments. Number 5, own your home for stability. Number 6, plan for your retirement, because it is coming. You must retire someday, and you need to plan for that. You get what I'm saying? Number 7, enhance your skill. You must enhance your earning ability to earn more money, make more money in your job. You must desire to grow, and you need to learn new skills to grow. It is a continuous process. So I hope this video was insightful for you. Those back home, I know this is tough love, but it's the same way that I'll talk to my siblings, my brothers, my friends, right? Some of them younger than me, some of them older than me. I want people around me to get better, and I challenge them, and just like I challenge my own self every day. I'm hard like this because I'm times 3 what I'm giving you on my own self. Are you tracking? I'm hard on myself. And so you might feel like this is hard. No, this is just, I said this is 3 times of what you just heard. That is what I put on me to stretch myself. And not only that, I demand excellence from my own people around me. My children, my spouse, my siblings. If they're talking with me, they will tell you, I want everybody to go forward, get better. And so I challenge them. That is how we challenge. Every successful individual has the same kind of energy. They want to challenge those around them to be better as well. So that tomorrow you don't get better and everybody stays the same. And all of a sudden there's resentment, there's gossip, there's jealousy and hate. Why? Because you did not challenge the people around you to be better. You didn't challenge the community to be better. You didn't challenge the country to be better. And all you did was just watch people do whatever they did. And then tomorrow they say it's grace that took you where you are. And then you say, yes, it's grace. There are some people here that don't have the grace. You're the only one who have the grace. Good luck with that. Everybody has the grace. How about that? Everybody has the grace. And if we do things a certain way, we can be able to achieve the same success, or at least an equivalent of that success. Are you tracking? Your government is not a problem. We need coordination, a centralized private system that works in collaboration with the government. And with that, we can build an organized society that even makes sense for us. And we will lay a solid foundation for generations to come. I love you all with all my heart in a way that you can't imagine. I love Cameroon so much. I love the people so much. It just grieves my heart to see us suffer because we lack that coordination and unity. Someone hears you're doing something, the next thing they want to go do their own Me Too version somewhere. Not how can we collaborate and do what you are doing right now so that we can be able to make progress together. This kind of divisive spirit. All of a sudden, you realize the community is scattered. Everybody has their own version and philosophies of success, and the community is going down. No one benefits from division. That is why the government will always be stronger than us, because they are united. They speak with one voice. The same principle, you hear them saying it. Are you tracking? Let God bless you wherever you are. Bless your family. Bless your children. Bless the works of your hand. Bless your mind. Bless your life. Bless your relationships. I wish you nothing but the best. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Bye for now.